As we have discussed about the various ledgers like leading ledger, non-leading ledgers, and we have discussed about the extension ledger and what are the benefits about each and every ledger. We discussed about the concept wise. Now, the today's topic is very important, which is connected to the ledgers. We do lot many transactions in SAP. If we take a company, if we take any company, okay, for example, if I take a company called US10, US10 is nothing but our company.
So,
Hello.
the
Hello.
extension ledger is only for internal reporting.
Only for internal, for the decision making purpose only. It is not for the audit purpose.
Oh, so how, when you post to the extension ledger, how do you post? What kind of transactions do you post to the extension?
See, any kind of transaction. See, in the month end or something like when we do something like in the month end, we'll do lot many adjustments or something like we do something about the reposting of the revenues or something like we want a financial statement which is only for the internal reporting purpose. That is a financial statement for the consolidation purpose. We want a one separate ledger for that. There will be a lot of purposes. It is not specifically designed only for these kind of postings are going to be posted for any management decision making purpose, for any internal reporting purpose. If you want to do some planning for the next coming 4 months or 5 months or like that, so for the planning purpose, for the consolidating of all the transaction purpose, so you will do lot many transactions which should not be impact to the other ledgers, which should not be impact to the main ledger. So for that purpose I want a separate ledger, just like a rough book where I can do the postings and I can do the consolidation, where I can do the revenue postings, where I can do the like planning of the data. So that all the things you can play like anything in the extension ledger, not in the main ledgers.
Okay, so basically, there's no kind of accounting principle assigned to this. It's only for internal.
Exactly. So these appendix ledgers are going to be based on the main ledgers, whatever. See, for example, I'm taking an example here. Okay, now. Okay.
Will this still be part of a ledger group, or is it like different?
You can also maintain as a part of ledger group also. So if you want, you can also maintain it as a part of ledger group, but it is going to behave as an extension ledger, not as a main ledger. You can include it in the ledger group also.
So I thought a ledger group definitely has to have a leading or non-leading ledger, isn't it?
That's what, okay. So what is the purpose of the ledger group? If you have more than one ledger in a one group, you can call it as a ledger group. If you don't want the ledger group, you can maintain as a ledger, separate ledger for that. But we can't, okay, it is not supposed to be created as a ledger group then.
Okay. Let's take an example like production stuff, right? If you have
Okay.
a project production order and you want to maintain, you want to figure out the cost for various departments, then do you maintain some kind of an extension ledger for that, or is it different?
Can you come again, sir? Different cost means?
Yeah. So you have a production order.
Okay.
And you're trying to find out internal reporting for it about what are the costs for the various departments.
Okay.
Because of that production order.
Then I can, why should I create the extension ledger, sir? Because I can get the report through the cost center, no, sir.
Okay, so that's why I'm trying to figure out what is simple, like the example I gave. What is an
No. Just see, for example, I'll take one example here. Now I'll take an example. So let us assume that this is the ledger. We can take it as a main ledger where we are going to be calling it as the leading ledger. Okay. So the leading ledger is going to be from Jan to December. The leading ledger is going to be the Jan to December. So what is the currency here using? The currency which has been assigned to the ledger is going to be the USD here. So I do lot many transactions in SAP leading ledger. Okay, so I do lot many transactions in my leading ledger. Okay, this leading ledger is mainly for the external reporting purpose, not for internal reporting purpose. So what is going to be done here? So which month is opened here? January period is open. January. January is the period which I have opened here. Means Okay, so you're doing the transactions. So you're doing the day-to-day transactions only in the period which is opened is called as a January. So you are not supposed to post any transaction in the month of February, March. Why? Because they are the next month. So as per the legal rule, only the current period has to be opened and you have to complete the period and closing activity. Then only you have to open the February period. So now if I take a leading ledger, the leading ledger is opened with the January period. Now on the top of the leading ledger, so this is mainly useful for external reporting purpose only. I am writing here. This ledger is mainly useful for external. When I call it as external reporting. When I call it as external reporting, what do you mean by that? Okay, it is impacting to my financial statement. It is impacting to my financial statement. So it is useful for the preparation of P&L account and balance sheet, not for any other purpose. So all the audits are going to be happen to this particular ledger. Now, for my internal, okay, so I cannot disturb this ledger. I cannot disturb. I want to have some consolidation of the restatement. Okay, I want a one restatement.
Okay.
So you are extracting a financial statement from the OL. This is for the external reporting purpose, which is going to be showing to your stakeholders. But I want a one more financial statement. I want a one more financial statement, which is only for the internal reporting purpose. So I would like to post some transactions, which is not going to be impacting to a leading ledger. So those transactions has to be impact only to the essential ledger. So this is the financial statement. This is called as a restatement purpose. For this restatement, I do whatever I want, because this is only for the internal reporting purpose, because this restatement is mainly useful for the planning purpose, for the decision making purpose. I want one more restatement. So the main restatement you are extracting from the leading ledger, this I don't want to disturb. If you do any kind of manipulations here, it is going to be caught in the audit. So the audit people will caught you and they will ask you for the justification why you have posted this transaction. What is the purpose here? Can you please show the justification for this? So I cannot do anything in the leading ledger. This has to be audited by my company auditors. So what I will do, so SAP is providing you a one non-leading ledger, one extension ledger, where you can build this extension ledger on top of your leading ledger. So what I will do, I'll taking a one more extension ledger. So this I will build on the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to be connecting, I'm going to be stapling on the top of my leading ledger. So this ledger is called as my extension ledger. So I'll give E1. E1 is nothing but I can easily identify this is the extension ledger for restatement purpose, which is only for internal reporting purpose only. I'm creating a one more statement. I'm creating a one more financial statement. One more, I'm expecting a one more financial statement, which is only for the internal reporting purpose, not for external. So this is only for internal.
What kind of data goes into the restatement?
I'll tell you. Internal reporting purpose. So what type of data you are expecting? So whatever the transactions, and here also I am stapling this extension ledger on the top of your leading ledger. So whatever the transactions you are posting to this ledger, whatever the day-to-day transactions are posting to the leading ledger, automatically these transactions are getting inherited to the extension ledger. Very, very important. The day-to-day transactions you're posting to the leading ledger will get inherited to the extension ledger with the same currency. There is no deviation in the currency. With the same currency, the transaction. For example, today I'm posting something like customer account to, I'm in the leading ledger. In the customer account is getting debited and my sales revenues are getting credited. These sales revenues are getting credited. This is the financial accounting transaction which I got posted in the leading ledger. This I posted in the leading ledger. The same transactions are getting inherited over here also. Automatically, if you go and see in the extension ledger also, the extension ledger is also getting posted with this transaction.
Yeah.
And
what are specific transactions only for extension ledger?
Only the transactions you're posting. You may have another ledgers also. You may have another non-leading ledgers also. But whatever the postings you're making to another ledger, it will not impact this extension ledger.
No, I want to get an example of one transaction that only posts to extension ledger, and it is not for external reporting.
It is not for external reporting, but this the transactions you have posted to the leading ledger. So whatever if you are posting 100 transactions in a day to this particular leading ledger, I can see those 100 transactions are getting reflected in my extension ledger.
Okay, what is one transaction that can post to extension ledger and that is not?
You can post any kind of transaction, sir. You can do any kind of manipulations in the exchange ledger where where vice versa, it will not have any effect to your leading ledger.
Like, for example, is it about costs or is it about transferring cost from one department to another department? Or what kind of transactions you usually see in an extension ledger?
See, for example, sir, there are some revenues are there. For example, if I see the sales revenue, okay.
No,
so
that obviously has to go to the leading ledger. Okay.
That has to be go to the leading ledger, but I can see the revenues are also getting affected to my exchange ledger also, no?
Okay, what is one transaction that goes in the extension ledger that is not shown in the leading ledger?
For example, okay. So for example, there are some transactions are there, like for example, I want to adjustments, something called as adjustments. I will do some adjustments in the month. Okay, that is one example for the month of January, which should not be impacted to the month of February. Okay, so let us assume that now there are some adjustment postings are there. Okay, adjustment postings from one cost center to another cost center. Maybe you're asking about the one profit center to another profit center, or maybe something like I want to repost the cost more than what you have been posted to the leading ledger. That is what exactly. So there are some adjustments I had to make. Okay, these adjustments, whatever the adjustment postings we are making related to the cost, okay, those adjustments I will do only in the E1. Okay, those adjustment reposting of the revenues or something like adjustment postings of the cost. Okay, there are some postings I will do only for the E1. So these postings should not be impacted to the leading ledger. So whatever the postings you are making to the E1, like adjustments of the revenues. For example, I want to do some adjustments of the revenues for the period of last year. That is for the 2018 in the month of January, in the month of December. It should not be affected to the leading ledger, because in the leading ledger, the period which is opened is called as the January period. But I would like to do the adjustments in the period of December. The December adjustments I want to make, reposting of the cost or reposting of the revenues, whatever may be. So that has to be impacted only for the 2018. Because okay, in the 2018, because this accounting entry is very much required for the E1, where I would like to have some internal reportings, where I can have some decision makings or some planning. Because of that, these adjustments, whatever the adjustments I am posting to the E1 should be affected for the month of December. So what I'm going to do, so I can open period of the last year December, and I can do whatever the adjustments I would like to post in the month of December. So these adjustments, whatever the adjustments you are posting in the E1, will not have any impact to your leading ledger, because your leading ledger is also using the same Jan to December. But here the period which is opened is called as the January period, which is the 2019. But here, which is the period, which period you have opened? I have opened the period called as the month of December. That is the 2018 month. That is the 2018 year. That is the last year. So before I display my financial figures, before I complete all my financial statement, year-end closing activities are getting completed. So I will also do those year-end closing activities in the E1. But these year-end closing activities are impacting only to the E1 for the internal reporting purpose. But these adjustments are not getting reflected to my OL. Why? Because if I do this manual, if I do these adjustments in the OL, I had to explain to my auditors why you have done this adjustment. What is the purpose of doing these adjustments? Can you please show the justification? If you doesn't show the justification, then it is going to be called as your auditors. You're going to show the wrong report. Means you're completely misguiding your auditors and explaining whatever you want. But those auditors you are going to catch out over here. These transactions never been shown in the leading ledger. Why? Because these are manipulated transactions. Those manipulated transactions I can do in E1 for the internal reporting purpose, like anything, reposting of the cost or reposting of the revenues or reposting of cost from one profit center to another profit center, or something like, okay, you want to have the revenue statement separately, or you want to have a separate financial statement for the month of for the year of 2018, okay, where you have done some adjustments for the next coming planning years. So those kind of transactions you can do in the E1.
So long story short, right, Mahesh, so simply there is no impact whenever we post in extension ledger. There is no impact in the leading.
Exactly.
And leading ledger is for external entity, for the account auditor.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can move on to the next topic.
The posting period variant for the ledger E1, right? Extension ledger is different.
It's a completely different, sir. It's a completely different configuration actually. So I'll show how to do that. We are not at the practical, so I'll show how to do this.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Now let me come to the currencies. Okay. Now, okay. Let me come to the currencies now. What do you mean by currency? A currency is a monetary value which is getting affected to your financial statement. Now, let us assume that now I'm taking a one company code where I'm going to be calling it as the US10. Here, the local currency which I'm using is called as the USD. What do you mean by local currency? Local currency is the currency which has been assigned to the company code. A local currency is the currency which has been assigned to the company code is called as the local currency. Actually, we call it as the company code currency also. In SAP ECC, I'm talking in SAP ECC, not in SAP S4HANA. When you go back to the SAP ECC, we have only 3 currencies are getting assigned to the FI. Very, very important. This is very, very important. In SAP ECC, we have only 3 currencies are getting assigned to the company code. One currency is called as company code currency. One currency is called as the company code currency. Very, very important. This is a certification question also, please. When you are writing the associate level certification, this is the question actually. One is the company code currency. Second one is going to be called as a group currency. And third one is going to be called as additional currency. Third one is going to be called as additional currency. These are going to be called as a currency types. We call them as a currency types. So I'm just writing here, currency types. Okay. The currency type is very, very important, where it is one of the prerequisite, which is one of the prerequisite before you do any kind of transaction postings in SAP. Okay. Otherwise, the system will not allow you to do the transaction posting. So in SAP ECC, we can have 3 currency types to the FI. That is, one is going to be called as the company code currency, where the currency type of company code currency is 10. It is the universal. You have to blindly remember this. 10 is nothing but wherever you see the currency type 10, it is going to be called as local currency or it is called as the company code currency. So I'm taking a one company code currency now. Okay. Now, I created one company code. For this company code, whichever the currency you are assigning is called as a company code currency. Okay. Now, if I go into the SAP, if I go into the SAP, SPRO, IMG, if I go into the enterprise structure, in the definition, financial accounting, in the financial accounting, you are creating a one company code, edit, copy, delete, check company code. Okay, if I'm creating one company code, okay, this is called as the activity box. In the activity box, what I have to do, I had to select edit company code data and I had to click on the choose. Now I'm creating a one company code by clicking on new entry. So you have several company codes. Okay, company is going to be the one which is consolidation purpose, but I am doing the operations. I have manufacturing units in several countries. So each and every country wise, I want a one legal entity for posting the transaction. For US, I'm taking called as US10. Okay. So for example, US10 is nothing but my company code. I'm writing the company name. Okay. I'm writing the General Motors US division. Okay. US division. Okay, I'm writing the city, New York. Okay, example. Okay, which country? The country is nothing but US, United States. Okay, so it will be good. Now here, it is very mandatory. You can see here there is a tick mark is there. There is a right tick mark is there. Means it is a mandatory. You should not leave this field empty. You should not leave this field as an empty. Now here, whichever the currency you are assigning, okay, you are assigning the currency called as USD, United States dollars. Okay, if I take the United States dollars, if I go into the search cell, so these are the different currencies which are going to be available. You can see these are the different currencies which are going to be available. Now here I would like to look out for the currency for the USD. USD will come into the last because it's based on the alphabetical words. So United States dollars. So what code I had to give here? USD. So now I'm giving the USD. So this currency you are assigning to this particular company code. US10 is the company code. Why? Because I do lot many transactions based on the company code only. Transactions are getting posted at the company code level. So whenever I'm posting any transaction, the default the currency will be the USD. So this is called as the local currency. So what is the currency? The local currency. The local currency is also called as the company code currency. So it will be indicated with the currency type called as a 10. Next one, we have the group currency. We have the group currency. What do you mean by group currency? Let us assume that, okay, General Motors is having several divisions in several countries. So each and every country, okay, so I have in US 10, and at the same time, I have the company code in India, and at the same time, I have the company code in Germany. Okay, so 3 company codes are there. Okay, DE10. Okay, when I come to the USA, the local currency will be the USD. When I come to the India, the local currency will be the INR. And when I come to the Germany, okay, the local currency will be the Euro, okay, EUR. So these are going to be called as the local currencies. We call them as a local currencies. But yes, you are very good that, okay, you are extracting all the financial statements at the company code level. But at the final, if I look at the consolidation level, okay, if I look, General Motors is nothing but my company, okay? General Motors is nothing but my company here. But if I look at the consolidation level, okay, you're showing the reports at the local currency level, okay? For if you extract for Germany, you are getting the local currency as the Euro. For India, it is INR, and for US, you are extracting in the local currency called as the Euro. But if I want one consolidation currency for the group level, for entire the corporate group level, if I take it to the corporate group level, it is the highest level. So I don't want to see at the corporate level each and every company code currency level. Now I want to assign one group currency. What is the group currency you are going to be taken? Okay, I'm taking it as a USD, or I'm taking it as a Euro. Euro is nothing but my group currency here. Okay, Euro is nothing but my group. Either you can use the USD, either you can use the INR as a group currency, either you can use the Euro as a group currency. Individually, you're seeing the financial statements. Individually, you're creating the financial statements at the company code level. But at the entire the corporate level, I want to one currency, which is called as the group currency. Very, very important. So which group currency you are going to be using? That group currency is called as my Euro. Euro is called as a group currency. So here, the group currency is one of the currencies. So the group currency always will be indicated with 30. Currency type 30. Very, very important. These all are very, very important for us now. Okay. So what is the additional currency? Apart from your local currency and the group currency, SAP is providing you 2 more currencies. One is going to be called as 40. One is going to be called as the 40. Another one is going to be called as the 50. One is going to be called as the 40. Another one is going to be called as the 50. 40 is called as the hard currency. Hard currency. 50 is called as the index-based currency. Okay. Wherever you see the countries like Senegal, like Serbia, like we have some countries in Africa, like Zimbabwe, where the inflation rate is very, 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 very low. Okay. Like if you see Cambodia, like Cambodia is one of the country, okay, in the Asia Pacific. You can see the dollar value is more than, okay, for example, $1 is equal to, according to the Cambodian currency, it will be more than up to 20,000, not 20,000, nearly about 15,000 Cambodian rials. 15,000 Cambodian rials. You see the inflation rate is very, 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 very low when comparing with the dollar value. Like we have Serbia, like Syria. Okay, like if you take some African countries, like Zimbabwe is one of the African countries where we can see the high inflation rates over there. So those countries where the inflation rates are going to be fluctuated at the country level, I'm talking, not at the company, not at where, at the country level, I'm going to be talking here. Okay, so for those kind of countries, okay, where you are going to be assigning. Here I'm taking a country is called as a US, but if I take it as a Cambodia, for example, let me see whether the Cambodia is available or not. Cambodia. Okay, the country is not available, but I can also create the country here. If I take the company, okay, company Cambodia, okay. So I'm just assigning the country called as a KM. I think it will be available in the KA. I think the country is not available. Okay, let me. Yeah, Cambodia. Yes, Cambodia. Okay, the country is called as the KH. KH is nothing but the Cambodia. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm assigning the currency. Okay, so here I'm taking the country called as KH, but I'm taking the currency called as USD only. Very, very important. The local currency I'm using as a USD. If we go to the Cambodian currency, okay, you can see the government, they can accept the USD currency. They will do the transactions here because the inflation rate is very, 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 very low over there. So I cannot use the currency of Cambodian currency. If I pay $1, they are going to return 15,000 Cambodian riyals to me. So I cannot accept that, all those things. So you can do the transactions USD. So I'm making as a USD as my local currency over there also. I recently visited over there. Okay, so now here, whichever the countries which have the high inflation rates, where they are going to be using with high inflation rates, okay, those currencies I can use the hard currency. Okay, hard currencies. Okay, hard currencies are based with the country level. So the hard currency, the additional currency, you can take either 50 or 40, depends upon your requirement. You can take either 50 or 40, depends upon your requirement. Okay, so these are the three currencies. Okay, if I go to the currency now, for example, we have explained about the concept. Now I'll go to the hard currency now. Now, I told that hard currency and index-based currencies are maintained at the country level. So if I go to SAP NetViewer, I go to general settings. In the SAP NetViewer, I'll go to the general settings. In the general settings, I go to the set countries. See, you can see the set countries. In the set countries, if I see that define the countries in SAP system. So if I just click on execute button, these are the countries which are available. I'll go to the Cambodian country, that is the KH. Just now we have seen KH is the code for Cambodia. Now I'll select and I'll click on the display details button. I'll click on the details. You can see the details button is activated. Now here you can see the details. So here you had to give that index based currency or the hard currency. Very, very important. So here what I'm going to do, the hard currency which I'm going to be giving as my USD is nothing but my hard currency. Why? Because the inflation, based on the inflation risk, I'm using the USD as my hard currency. Either you can give the index based currency based on the requirement where the inflation, you can go and type the F1. You can see if you want to know what is the index based currency, if you type the F1, specify the currency for the friction currency. And index based currency is stipulated for external reporting purpose for the tax returns. Okay, in some countries with a high inflation, you can see here tax returns where the countries are showing with a high inflation. For those countries, okay, you can use the index based currency. So hard currency is the currency where I can use for the purpose of for internal tax reporting purpose with the high inflation. That is the hard currency used for the countries with the high inflation rate. So either you can use the index-based currency or the hard currency. But these two currencies are maintained at the country level, not at the company code level. Not at the company code level. You can see here, I'm using the country, not the company code. So in the previously, when you go to the SAP ECC system, only three currencies are allowed. Only three currencies are allowed for a company code assignment. Okay, first it can be the company code currency, second one will be the group currency, and third one is going to be called as the additional currencies. Additional currencies. Now, in SAP S4HANA, in 1511, when you take a 1511 series, when you take a 1511, in a 1511, apart from the two currencies, additionally 5 currencies are available. Two currencies, one currency is going to be called as a local currency, second one is called as a group currency. When you take here additional, only one additional currency is going to be given in SAP ECC. Only one additional currency, either you can take 40 or either you can take 50 earlier. Apart from these two currencies, only one additional currency has been given. But in the 1511 series, in the SAP S4HANA on-premise, when I'm talking on-premise, apart from these two currencies, additionally, you can go up to 5 currencies. Now, 5 currencies. After 1511, we see the 1610. We see the 1610. We see the 1709. We see the 1809. For these 3 series, up to till 1809, apart from these 2, SAP is providing 8 freely defined currencies, my dear friends. 2 plus 8, totally 10. 2 plus 8, totally 10. 1511, only 5 additional currencies you can define. 2 means, what are the 2 means? One is the company code currency, another one is the group currency. Apart from these 2 currencies, additionally, you can go up to 8 currencies, my dear friends. So you can show the reports in additional 8 other currencies apart from the local currency and the group currency. So this facility is going to be given from the 1610 onwards, 1610, 1709 and 1809 onwards. Very, very important here. One second, please. So, financial accounting. If I go to the financial accounting global settings, and if I go to the ledger, all the currencies I told that you have to maintain at the ledger level. Okay, ledger. If I go into the ledger, define settings for ledgers and the currency type. So you can see here, define the settings for the ledgers. We have seen how to see the settings for the ledger. There are 3 ledgers are there: leading ledger, non-leading ledger, and the extension ledger. Okay. Now, after you make the settings for the ledger, now the second part where we are going to be talking, it has called as the currency types. Currency types are very, 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 very important for us. So there is already a documentation has been given. If you want to go through the documentation, documentation is also available. Okay, you can see the documentation is also available over here. So, okay, you can also go through the documentation. But before you go through the documentation, I'm just making you through the practicals about, okay, what are the different currencies that are available. So if I click on this execution button for the currency types, okay. Now, if I take a ledger here, if I take a ledger, leading ledger, which is called as the leading ledger, okay, we should have only one leading ledger, not more than one leading ledger for a company code. Very, very important. Last class also we have discussed. One leading ledger is getting assigned to all the company codes. I'm selecting the leading ledger. If I go to the company code, very, very important. If I go to the company code settings for a ledger, here you can see here which company code you want to do the setting. Okay. Now here you can see here. Okay. Now, if I take one company code, for example, the default company code, you can, okay, and one more thing, my dear friends, okay, there is a SAP best practice company code is there, which is called as the 1710 company code. Don't disturb this company code. This is only for the best practice where you can only take the reference of this company code, but don't do any kind of practicals using this company code. Don't disturb this company code settings. Very, very important. This is only for the reference purpose. Very, very important, my dear friends. I'm taking to all of you because we are creating a new company code. We'll play like anything in the new company code, but don't disturb this 1710 company code. 1710 company code is the SAP best practice company code for the reference purpose only, please. All the configuration settings are maintained in this company code. You can see here currency type 10, by default, it will be the local currency, and the currency type 30 is going to be called as the global currency, where you can see here, these are the two default currencies are available. But apart from that, SAP is providing you eight freely defined currencies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 freely defined currencies. For every currency type, you can maintain a currency over here. So 8 freely defined currencies. Additionally, you are getting 8 freely defined currencies for your company code level for any kind of reporting, where if you want to show the reporting from the euro to USD or euro to INR, euro to GBP, you can have 8 freely defined currencies you can maintain for one company code from today onwards. Very, very important syllabus we are going to be discussing. Very, 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 very important. Earlier, we have only one additional currencies apart from the company code and the group currency. Now, from today onwards, SAP is providing you 8 freely defined currencies at the global level, where you can maintain for company code from today onwards. For each and every currency type. Now I need to come out from the currency types. Okay, we'll discuss each and every. Now just basic understanding I'm giving. 2 plus 8, totally 10 currencies. 2 are nothing but one is the local currency. Second one is going to be called as the global currency. Apart from these two currencies, 8 freely defined currencies are going to be given. Okay, if the requirement is meeting about 8 freely defined currencies, you can maintain 8. Okay, if the requirement is not, okay, I just want, and only these two currencies are enough, Mr. Rahul. I don't want any of 8 freely defined. Then you don't maintain anything over here. Just leave it as a blank over here.
So these currencies, right? We have the selected 8 currencies, Mahesh. So
yeah,
are we going to use this for external and internal reporting both?
Both.
Okay.
Yes. For Exchange Ledger also, you can maintain these currencies. Here I'm showing the example. Yeah, here I'm showing for the leading ledger.
Okay. Gotcha.
So when you
Okay.
post,
So is there anything you can show us how we select the language when we creating a report? Is there any options we select the language when we generate the report, or?
Means you're talking about the report means which report, sir?
Suppose if you're generating a ledger, right? So which currency?
That may be default with the English language. See, sir, whenever I'm just logging to the SAP here, see, whenever I'm just
currency,
logging.
I'm talking about currency, sorry.
Yeah, whenever I'm logging here, the specific language you are going to be given. If it is the EN means it will be the English.
Yeah, but if you select the Indian rupees, right? So the language will be English, but currency will change, right? Every time suppose we select 6 currencies, different currencies, right? And
No,
I want to generate this report in Indian rupees and as well as in other euro as well.
That you can develop the forms. That is completely different. There is no language specific about that. You have to develop the forms in the local currencies as per your requirements.
Okay.
Yeah, that cannot be given. So that like. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
let's say we maintained all the 8 currencies, additional currencies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm coming, sir. One by one point. I'm coming here. Okay. Now,
when you post a transaction in a company code, let's say 1710.
Okay.
So does that transaction have multiple entries based on all the different?
No. See, for example, now for example, now here, how many currencies are maintained here? 10 and 30. For example, I'm taking. Okay. So here one example I'll take. 10 is going to be called as my USD and 30 is nothing but my euro. Okay. Here I'm using only 2 currencies. 10 is nothing but my USD. And 30 is the currency where I'm going to be using as a euro. But now in my SAP, what I'm going to do, I'm posting only one transaction. For example, I'll take like this salaries. Salaries account is getting debited and my cash or bank account. Example I'm taking, okay? Example, cash or bank account is getting credited. This is the accounting entry I'm posting in my SAP. Okay, how many USD dollars you're posting? I'm posting in local currency. So I'm posting 100 USD dollars. Okay, I'm posting 100 USD dollars. Okay, 100 USD dollars are getting debited and 100 USD dollars are getting credited. This is the transaction I'm posting in the local currency, the USD. Now, after you post the transactions, I'm going to get one document number, okay? Like OCHA number, document number, for example, document number will be get posted. Document number 100 or 200 was get posted, okay? Or document number 1001 got posted. Means the document number 1 got posted. If I go and see this document, if I go and see the document in my SAP, okay, /n, if I go and see this document, okay, in the table SE16, I'll show the ACDOCA. Universal General Entry Table is nothing but ECDOCA table. Universal General Entry Table is nothing but your ECDOCA table. If I go and see the ECDOCA table, if I give the specific ledger, the like OL, and if I give the company code 1710, and the financial year is 2018, whatever the financial year, if I click on the document, if I click on the execute, if I go and see the document, see here, this is the document number you have posted. Now in the 2018. Okay, now if I come back, if I go and see here, if I click here, see here. So these are the different transactions. See, okay, balances in transaction currency is euro. Okay, transaction currency you have made in euro. Your company code currency is USD, and your group currency is going to be the euro, and your first currency is euro. Your second currency is automatically, you can see all the currencies are going to be filled over here automatically. It is not just like that you're posting a manually to each and every currency type automatically. If you're not maintain the currency types over there. For example, let us take an example. Mahesh, I have only two currencies, 10 and 30. I have not used the freely defined currencies. Then these freely defined currencies field will not be get updated. This freely defined currencies will not, it will show the blank like this.
So where is the conversion value of those stored?
These conversion value I will maintain in my exchange rate spreadsheet. That is completely different. See, for example, now.
But that changes every period.
Yes, sir. Definitely every midnight you have to upload the conversion rates. You will get a bank. Okay, you are going to tie up with a bank. So every night, okay, every day you will get an exchange rate spreadsheet that will be automatically in the back job. You are going to run the batch job. Through the batch job, automatically day to day, the exchange rate spreadsheet has to be updated over here.
Okay, so based on the date, it is going to take that particular.
Exactly, sir. Definitely. What is the conversion rate between the USD to euro? And what is the conversion rate between the euro to USD? What is the today's date? Today is nothing but, okay, today you take about 7/01/2018 19, sorry. So what is the conversion rate between the euro to USD, USD to INR, or INR to INR? That conversion rates, every conversion rates, exchange rates has to be entered daily basis on the exchange rate spreadsheet.
So, Mahesh, the exchange rate, right? Is SAP system update the exchange rate, or every company update manually?
No, sir. Actually, what we will do here, we'll tie up with a bank. So they will send an exchange rate spreadsheet daily on daily basis. So we are going to run the batch job. Every night, a batch job is going to be run. So this batch job, what it will do, it will automatically update all the exchange rate spreadsheets in the SAP, sir, as per the today's date.
Hey, Mahesh, just a quick question. You mentioned that this transaction in your scenario, the salary scenario, is USD. So,
Exactly.
So why is it that you're showing the transaction currency here to be euro for the example?
Good question, sir. Good question. Okay, now let me take it. Yeah. So let me explain about the transaction currency.
Yeah.
Transaction currency, another one is going to be called as a document currency. Okay, first let me explain the transaction currency. So I'm posting the transaction. As I told you that I'm posting many transactions in my SAP.
Okay.
Some transactions I'm posting in the local currency. Some transactions I'm posting in euro currency. Some transactions I'm posting in INR currency. My company code currency is USD. Blindly assume that your company code currency, your 1710 is the company code, and your company code currency is the USD only. Okay, but apart from the USD, I'm also posting the transactions in euro. I am also posting the transactions in INR. So what is the transaction? Okay, which currency you are using to post the transaction? So if for example, as I discussed, that salaries account is getting debited and my cash or bank account is getting credited. This is the accounting entry I'm posting here. So when I'm posting this accounting entry, so what is the currency I'm using? If I'm using 100 USD means, okay, and one more transaction I'm posting, salaries account debit and my cash or bank account credit. This is one more transaction. This is another transaction I'm posting. So in which currency you're posting? Okay, I'm posting in INR. Okay, 50,000 INR, 50,000 INR. But your local company, but your company code currency is USD. But I'm not using the USD. I'm posting in INR. 50,000 INR. I'm posting over here. So if you see in both the situations, in the example number 1, in the example number 2, my company code currency is USD only. My company code currency is USD. But one of the transaction I have posted in USD, another transaction I have posted in INR. Very, very important. I have posted another. So if I go and see the reports, okay, here the transaction currency will be the USD, and here,
Sign out again, sir.
Okay.
example,
Sir, thank you so much.
yeah, here the transaction currency is going to be the INR. So your transaction currency will be the USD, another one is going to be the INR. But if I see the company code currency, the company code currency is USD, and here the company code currency is also USD. But the transactions you are posting in different currency. That is called as a transaction currency. Actually, we call it as a transaction currency. In both the cases, one transaction currency I posted as a USD, which is same as my local currency. But in another case, my company code currency USD, but the transactions have posted in INR. This currency is called as a transaction currency. Is it clear, sir?
So Mahesh, we can change this company code during posting.
No.
What, sir? Can you come example?
We can change the currency type during posting only.
No.
So where did you
Automatically.
change? Because where you did the change actually? So one post.
Actually, see, I'll do that. While I'm posting, for example, /n f-02. Okay. Now, for example, this is the general entry posting. Today I'm posting like 08/01/2019. I'm posting a one transaction. I'm using a company code called as 1710. I know for this company code, what is the currency? USD. See here, USD is the currency. Okay. Now here, I'm not posting in euro. Okay, but I'm posting in euro, not in USD. Then this will become your transaction currency.
Okay, got it. So the currency, this is rate, or what is that rate mean here?
This is the manual entry of the rate. For example, if you're not maintain the exchange rate spreadsheet today, you've forgotten to maintain the exchange rate spreadsheet. But I got the exchange rate because they see every day the exchange rates are going to be fluctuated from the USD to INR, INR to USD, or USD to euro, euro to INR. So manually I can maintain the exchange rate. So what is the conversion rate between the INR to USD, or what is the conversion rate between the USD to euro as on today? That exchange rate I can maintain over here as on date.
Okay, and what happened when we have the update one? So it will take.
Very good question. When you're not maintain the exchange rate over here, automatically whatever the exchange rate you have maintained as on today, okay, whatever the exchange rate you have maintained as on today, if I go into the financial accounting, if I go here, what is the conversion rate between the 1 euro is equal to how many INR? So what is the rate I maintained? So this rate, okay. So today, for example, okay, I'm taking in the bank average. What is the date? 07/01/2019. Okay, USD to INR. Okay, this is going to be called as a direct quotation, and I'll also maintain the indirect quotation also, both the quotation 01/01/2019. This I will upload. Okay, INR to USD. This is the indirect quotation. INR to USD. One is the USD to INR. What is the rate? And another one is the one INR to USD. $1 is equal to how many rupees? One rupee. Okay, the 59. Okay, 70 rupees is equal to $1. Okay, that maintain that indirect quotation and the direct quotation I should maintain over here. So as on date, you have maintained the exchange rate spreadsheet over here. So automatically, so whatever the rate, if I'm posting INR, okay, whatever the rate you have maintained over there, automatically the system will pick up the rate as on date of 7/10/2008.
What is mentioned by M? You meant
This is the bank average. There will be 3 exchange rate: bank selling, bank average, bank buying.
okay. Got it.
For example, For example, if I'm getting a United States dollars, I worked in USA. Okay, I earned about 5,000 USD dollars in US. I'm bringing that amount to my country, India. Example, I'm taking. I want to exchange that, so they will take as a bank selling rate. If you want to purchase the dollars from the bank buying rate, then what is the difference? What is the average between the bank selling and bank buying? That is the average you are going to be taking.
So M represent bank rate, right?
Bank average.
Bank average. Okay.
So by default, if you're not maintain the exchange rate, okay, you are given your company code currency is USD, but you're not posting the transactions in USD, you're posting the transactions in INR, then automatically the rate, whatever the rate you're not maintained here, automatically the rate will become from this exchange rate spreadsheet. What is the today's you maintain the rate? That rate will be taken from here automatically. So transaction currency, company code currency, and what is our group currency here? The group currency is euro. Automatically, if you go and see the report, these three currencies will be displayed. It's a group currency. Group currency is euro automatically in both the cases.
Mahesh, if I maintain my average as well as a daily selling rate, which rate by default it takes?
It will take okay, whatever the rate you are maintaining about there, okay, then you have to maintain the rate over here automatically here, not here. You have to maintain the rate over here. Then in that case, you have to maintain the rate here.
That means it's a manual one.
Yes, manual.
How can I make sure that usually in a practical sense, usually we take the M rate for P&L and balance sheet is a separate.
Normally 99% will take the bank average.
Yeah, that is M rate but month end carry forward balances, we have to use the balance sheet rate for separately, right?
Exactly. You're right. Absolutely right. Actually, there will be called a realized and unrealized. For example, if I'm procuring the raw material from the foreign vendor, okay. When I got the raw material from the foreign vendor, when I procure the raw material, it is the 1 rupee. Okay, $1 is equal to 70 rupees on 01/01/2019. But when I'm making the payment today, the dollar value has been increased or decreased. Whatever may be, okay, it may be less than 70 rupees or it can be more than 70 rupees. So that difference of what I will do, that difference I will post in the exchange rate gain or exchange rate loss. If the dollar value is more than that, I'll post in the loss. If the dollar value is less than the rupees, I'll post in the gain. So that you do in the month-end closing activity based on the unrealized and the realized process.
Not only that, even the balance sheet, only P&L items I have to use M rate for balance.
That you can do. Yes, you're correct. You are correct. Yes, in the month-end closing, in the period closing activity, that is the activity you have to do.
Okay. So Mahesh, one question. This is only with you. So when we are maintaining so many currencies, is it possible that we can also report in all those currencies?
Definitely, sir. 8 freely different currencies.
Okay, if we can report in all those currencies, how is that from a transaction currency we will be converting that into the reporting currency?
Not converting, sir. Already you have maintained the exchange rates, everything in the spreadsheet, no, sir. Whatever the day you're maintaining the posting, already you have maintained all the exchange rates in the spreadsheet.
No, this will happen only. This we need to update. Otherwise, if we don't update this one, then it will not. That currency setting of, for example, 8 currencies. If we set up 8 currencies, it will not have an impact.
It will not have an impact then, sir. Definitely, you're right. Absolutely right.
So we should always.
We should always maintain that. Exactly, sir. You're right. If you're maintaining additional 2 currencies or 3 currencies, maintain the exchange rates in the spreadsheet, sir, please.
So what is the link? Where is the link between this settings, which you are showing at the screen, as well as the currency setting, that different currency settings?
That I will show, sir. There is a link here. Actually, what I will do here, there is a link here. Actually, we are not yet done. Okay, so there is a link about okay, we have to do that. We are not yet completed. Just based on the doubts, I'm showing the screens.
Yeah.
See here. Actually, when I'm defining the currencies only, so here, whatever the documents you are posting, so you're maintaining over there automatically. So We are coming to all the one by one.
Okay.
Mahesh, on a side note, usually this transaction currency will go to the CO document in the past, and document currency will flow into FI document.
Correct. Here
In
also
this
same, sir.
here, okay, got you.
Same. I got the question actually. I'm supposed to tell that, okay, but we are discussing only FI now, so I just ignore the currencies of controlling, because in the controlling, let me discuss that. I thought that like that.
Okay, thank you.
Now, when I see, these are the currency types, sir. Actually, these are the different currency types you have. See here, these are the different currency types you have. Okay. So first of all, we are maintaining all these currency types. You can see here different currency types. You can also go and create a new currency type also here. So once you created the new currency, so when you go to the global, what currency you want to maintain, everything we are going to do this all the settings. Once I do the settings only, okay. Once I do the settings, so if I come to the currency type conversion, come on. Once I do here, I'll maintain these currencies here. So you can see here which currency translations I'm doing. All this currency. Group currency is the euro. Okay, if it is other than currency, what currency you're going to be using? I'll maintain everything over here. So this is the relationship which I'm providing.
So it is kind of a one-to-many relationship. We need to create. For example, if there are 8 currencies, there will be 8 permutations.
8 conversions you have to maintain, sir.
I mean, 1 into 8, 1 into 7, 1 into 6.
1 into 8.
Each permutation
1 into 8.
For each of these currencies, we'll have to set up, right?
Exactly.
Otherwise, we will not be able to.
We will not get the reports. We will not get the reports, and the postings will not be happened. The transaction currency will be shown as an empty over there.
Okay.
Yeah. You have the benefit. If you utilize or doesn't utilize, the SAP is giving us the benefit where you can use the different 8 currencies for the additional purpose. So it depends upon the requirement to requirements.
Yeah. If it is required, then
Yes,
what are the?
Yes, sir. You are correct.
No, if it was easy when it was only just 2. When it's many, then what are the additional things we need
Understand.
to do? Yeah.
Understand. See, one of our friend is asking that, hey, Mahesh, do one thing. Okay. So you're telling that there is a bank selling, there is a bank average, and there is a bank buying. There are 3 exchange rate types you are telling: bank selling, bank buying, and bank average. So if you see here from USD to Euro, USD to Euro, I maintain all these 3 exchange rates: M, B, and G. Bank buying, bank selling, and bank buying. So one of our friend is asking which currency, either system is going to take the bank average, or system is going to take the bank buying, or system is going to take the bank selling. Which rate it will take by default? So when I'm doing the posting in SAP, when I do the postings in SAP, if I go to the postings, normally there will be the vendor transactions, customer transactions, asset transaction, general ledger transaction. You do many transactions. So here there is the document type is there. SA is nothing but the general ledger. It is not the customer. It is not the vendor. It is not the asset. It is a document. Which document you are posting? Salaries account to cash. Salaries account to cash is the document type SA. SA is nothing but the general ledger document actually. We call it as a general ledger document. Okay. So if I go to this document type /NOBA7 transaction, I'll tell all these things. Okay. Where is the SCA? Here it is the SCA. Okay. So if I go to this SCA, so here there is a column which is going to be called as default exchange rate type. If I give the M means it will post it to the M automatically. It will, if I give the bank, this is a bank average. If I give the G, or if I give the B, or if I give the M, so automatically instead of using the different exchange, it will automatically select which document, which currency, which transaction type you are going to be using for posting of SA documents. Clear?
Yep.
Okay. So guys, just I'm stopping the class. I'm not feeling well. Completely hangover with a lot of fever, high fever and something. Okay, I could not concentrate. Please,
sorry
tomorrow
to
can you if you don't mind. Please.
You take care, Mahesh.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Take care of yourself.
Get rest well.
Thank you.